What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about how to build muscle on your dog, any breed, to improve overall health, longevity, and performance. And the three most important things on exactly how to do that. We're going to break it down so that you guys really understand why these three things are recommended and why they're so effective. I know there's a lot of advice out there. A lot of advice is not even, a lot of advice out there just doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, you know that either somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, or that they're just lying to you, like straight up. So anyways, without wasting any more time, let's get to it. Anyways, so the three most important things to keep in mind here to build muscle on your dog are, number one, a quality kibble. You want to make sure you get a pretty good kibble, nothing overpriced. Usually the really good ones, they're not priced too high. Obviously, they're not priced too low. Just pick one that you feel is going to work good for your dog. And usually, I used to do raw meat with my dogs. It's really good, but it kind of becomes a serious hassle when you don't have a lot of time to like defrost the meat and make sure that you defrost it correctly. You don't want any kind of like germs building up on that meat. So that's the only issue I had with raw meat. But I still do it from time to time, but it's not really as important as a lot of people may make it seem. You'd be surprised at how good a lot of quality kibbles work. You'd really be surprised. Anyways, so number two, tire pull. Tire pull is probably the most effective exercise to build lean muscle in your dog. And I always like to go with really light weight because it's all about building the pump. It's not about how much weight your dog is dragging around. And I mean, my dogs have dragged around really heavy weight. They've done weight pull, all that kind of stuff, but it's really not necessary at all, because more than anything, it actually messes with their joints if it's not done like 100% correctly. And the last thing you want to do is do anything that can mess up the dog's joints, because as they get older, their joints usually get messed up anyway. So you just don't want to cause an issue with that. And plus, tire pull with light weight actually builds a lot of muscle mass, where you would be surprised at how the dog has built so much muscle mass with pulling light weight around, as funny as that sounds. And believe me, I've been there, I've done that. I've done all the heavy stuff. I've tried all the different stuff. And that's why, I'm making this video, so that you guys could prevent mistakes that were made by me, which you might be making yourself, and just skip the crap and get straight to it and get straight to the point and start getting results, and getting your dog healthier and more muscular. That's our goal. And number three, Buff K9's True Champ 2.0. This literally is probably the most effective supplement to help maintain overall immune health, number one, and build lean muscle mass and protect muscle mass from being burned off as fuel. And as far as recovery goes, recovery is awesome on this stuff. You don't have to have a dog that works out regularly to use this, because this stuff is so good for their immune system that for me is a good enough reason to use it anyways, But it's a great product to really help maximize your efforts in your dog's workouts with, helping to build them up and just get them healthier overall and improve his longevity. We all know working out does a lot, but those three things are the most important. You don't want to discredit any one of those. And I don't care if your dog doesn't have the best genetics in the world. There's only a few dogs that have the best genetics in the world anyways. I'm not about to go sell my dog or get rid of my dog to go buy a dog that has better genetics. I'm going to work with what I got, I mean, that's just what I'm going to do, and I'm sure that's what you guys would do too. So when people tell you it's all about genetics, it's genetics are important, there's no doubt, but at the same time, diet, exercise, and the right supplementation are extremely important also. So it's pretty much like a 50% genetics, 50% everything else. So when somebody tells you it's 100% genetics, these people are lying to you, or they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Don't ever believe that when you're told that. For example, Gorilla Man. I was told that several times. His genetics, he's just not enough. He's not enough. And now look at him. You put the right exercise and the right supplementation, and you see what happens. The genetics were always there. It's just that they needed to be fed and be unlocked with the right nutrients to get to the next level, and that goes for anybody. That goes for dogs, it goes for people, so don't ever, a lot of people will tell you, oh, all I do is my dog just eats kibble and he looks like this, when in the background they're working their dog out with all different sorts of exercises. They're giving them all different sorts of supplements and who knows what else, but they're telling you that the dog only eats kibble and just, stays in the kennel all day, which is the one really big lie. Don't fall for that kind of crap. It's a lie, Anyways. All right, so first things first, guys. You want to give your dog a really good pre-workout, and True Champ 2.0, in my opinion, is probably the best one. It doesn't have any caffeine or any stimulants of any type, which, is ridiculous to give a dog anyways, but there's nothing like that in here. All this has in there is basically an herbal combination that prevents the dog's muscle from being burned as fuel, helps the dog recover a lot better, and helps support their immune system to keep it really nice and strong, so they can rebuild faster. As funny as it sounds, keeping your dog's immune system really strong is super important to building muscle. You got to really keep that in mind, because a lot of people seem to forget that sometimes, but that is usually like the key. Once it's really strong, don't be surprised, they'll be building muscle like crazy, and you'll be wondering why and how. And again, don't let people lie to you and tell you it's all about genetics. Genetics is only half of it. There's a lot of other factors involved besides genetics. So, like sometimes some dogs just need the right kind of nutrients to get a little bit of a boost, and it's as simple as that. So with this stuff, what you do is you could give them like one capsule, either 30 minutes or 1 hour before their workout, with like about 4 to 6 ounces of kibble. And, make sure that their stomach is pretty much empty. 4 to 6 ounces of kibble is not that much to cause any kind of an issue before they start working out. And giving them this stuff, you could just, break it open and mix it in some water and throw it over their kibble. So tire pull. Tire pull is what we're recommending. Basically, you want to get yourself, get your dog a tire pull harness, or a harness that looks exactly like the one in the picture. It doesn't have to specifically be for tire pull or weight pull. As long as it looks something like the one in the picture, you should be fine. And what you want to do is you want to get a lightweight tire, something that the dog could drag around and not really feel like something's attached to him, even though something is attached to him when he's pulling that tire. And basically what you want to do is you want to perform basically one rep is considered 20 feet. And you want to do about 5, you could do anywhere from 2 to 5 reps per set, and do anywhere for 2 to 5 sets. And you want to perform this workout 2 times a week. Now you could perform it more often if you'd like, but it's not really that big of a deal. And right after the dog finishes his workout, you want to wait a minimum of an hour and a half to 2 hours before any kind of feeding. The reason behind this is you don't want to cause your dog's stomach to turn over or something bad like that to happen, which it doesn't happen to all dogs, but it can happen, where you feed your dog too soon, and then next thing you know, you've got serious problems and you have to take them to the vet. So be very careful on that, guys. Seriously, it happens a lot more than what you would think. So, my advice to that is do not feed your dog up to 2 full hours after a workout, and make sure you time it. Sometimes I even give my dogs food maybe 4 hours later or even 5 hours later, just because I don't want to take any kind of a risk with anything that could hurt my dog. So keep that in mind. So post-workout is extremely important. I always recommend giving them post-workout 2 hours to 4 hours after their workout, just to be extra safe. That's when you want to add in True Champ 2.0 mixed in their kibble. And post-workout, super important. This is when the true muscle building really takes place. And, your dog will get like real serious results. And, basically you'll see exactly what happens. They'll even hold a better pump too. And again, kibble, a quality kibble, is usually way more than enough. Raw meat is not necessary unless you just want to give them raw meat, I understand, But again, the defrosting issues and potential, issues with bacteria and all that kind of stuff. If you're short on time, it's really hard to do that kind of stuff. And even if you have time, the kibble is pretty effective and it gets the job done. So, why add a bunch of unnecessary stuff that's not going to make a massive difference, And I've done the raw meat before, heavily, for a very long time, and it cost a lot of money, and the gains were nowhere near what, is promised. So keep that in mind too. All right, guys. So just so that you guys really know exactly the effectiveness behind these methods that I'm mentioning to you guys to use, it's really important for you guys to see before pictures of Gorilla Man. Now here he is. This is a before picture, the right hand side, the right side view, and take a close look at him. I mean, he looks good. He looks healthy. He is healthy, but he's just a little, just not. He's lacking in like that thick muscle density, and you could tell that he genetically got the potential for it, but it's just not being unlocked. That's the problem. So, it takes some extra nutrients to do it. Now, pay close attention to his markings here, because when I show you guys the after pictures, which are also the pictures in the beginning of of this video, a lot of people seem to think that maybe it's fake, but when you look closely at his markings, look at the mahogany on him and the way the design is of the mahogany towards his entire body, and then look at the black on him, you can start to see that it is the same dog. This is like proof of it, And I've got 3 different angles to show you guys so that you guys can see for yourselves, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people thinking that it's not real, but it is. And, just judge for yourself. And this is his left side. And if you guys take a close look at, again, look at the mahogany, look at the design on his, of his coat, you could easily look at the markings and see that it is the same dog. I know it's hard to believe, I know, but this is why I want to have so many different angles so you guys can see for yourselves and compare for yourself. This is possible. You can do this with your dog. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't, but you got to have the right tools. And, giving your dog kibble only and taking them for a walk will not do this. Keep that in mind. That's why I'm sure a lot of you have tried that. It doesn't work. Even giving your dog kibble and working them out with the sled. Yeah, they'll, or tire pull. They'll get some good results, but nothing until you throw in the right supplements to really unlock that genetic potential. Remember, supplements are only nutrients. You got to have the right ones, and when you get the right ones, they produce some major results, And bottom line is, results don't lie. Everybody could lie to you and tell you something's going to work when it's not. But if it's going to work, it's going to work, and it will show itself. It will. That's one thing that cannot lie. Results. Keep that in mind. And here is one more pic. This is him standing up sideways. I like to call it the rear double bicep pose. This is another angle of him. And again, you could see he's in good shape, there's no doubt. You could see the muscles, there's nice and defined and fully functional and all that kind of good stuff. But they're still not popping the way they should be. The pump is not there. They're just not standing out the way they have the capability to. And again, Gorilla Man's a serious working line Rottweiler. I mean, he comes from nothing but working line Rottweilers for the past who knows how many generations. As far as I looked up, at least the last 10, which is a lot. So it's a real serious dog. He may not be the biggest dog. He may not have the biggest head or the biggest bone and some of the stuff that some of these show people look for. But when it comes to the overall total package and functionality, this is a beast, Don't let looks fool you. He looks like a really nice dog, and he's a nice dog. He's really well behaved and all that kind of good stuff. Really good around kids and women and all that kind of stuff. But he also does his job. He protects the house. That's what he's supposed to do. So, and he takes it very seriously. I've had so many dogs, but this is one dog that's really like a serious, like almost like a wild animal kind of a thing. We're talking power and endurance, which is just ridiculous. And then, but again, his temperament is great too. So it's nothing to be concerned about or get afraid of or anything. But remember, serious dogs in the hands of, people that know how to train them. When you get a dog like this and you get them all pumped up and all that kind of stuff, before you even do any of that, you got to make sure that they're trained really well, because that's super important. These are not just a normal, average, typical dog. However, the True Champ 2.0, it is made for average dogs. It's made for any dog of any breed. I don't care if it's a show dog. I don't care if it's a couch potato. I don't care if it's an extreme working dog. They all benefit, because remember, one of the main benefits of the Buff Canine is it's a major immune system support supplement. And that's should be key, for any dog owner to want to, give their dogs something that's really going to boost up their immune system. And that's exactly what this stuff does. And basically here is the right side, the left side, and the standing up side pose of Gorilla Man. And, the pictures speak for themselves. Look at his muscle structure. He's pumped from every angle. You can see a lot of muscle, a lot of pump, a lot of definition. He's symmetrical. All the muscles are bulging out of every angle, and they're all fully functional. The tire pull, whatever muscle is built with tire pull, because it never harms the joints and doesn't strain the joints as long as you stick with light weight, it really builds up a lot of functional muscle mass that really gets to, like show itself like in different situations, such as, whatever kind of sport you're doing with your dog, it'll show up. A lot of people have the wrong idea. They think that a big muscular dog is going to be slow. That's not true. It really depends how you build it. When you build it naturally and you don't stress out the dog's joints with super heavy weights, because remember, super heavy weights, what that does, and a lot of people, may not agree with this, but I've already seen this happen time and time again. It actually like messes up the agility of the dog, and basically they're not usually able to deliver their full power when it comes to different sports. And the other dogs that you guys have seen that are really big and this and that and just get tired easy, sometimes their owners give them questionable stuff which they should not be giving them. Let's not lie and pretend like that doesn't happen. That happens, and people do that kind of dumb shit. But that's they shouldn't be doing that, and it's sad when they do that. But don't let that confuse you with a dog that's built up naturally, that's built up with the right program, and it's all done 100% natural. That will never slow a dog down, ever. Keep that in mind. I know the old school thought is, if he's big, muscle uses up too much oxygen, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you have more muscle, it increases oxygen in your body. Like, don't be stupid. Don't listen to stupid shit like that. There's a lot of people out there that really don't know what the hell they're talking about. And, that's one of those things, so just be careful who you listen to. But anyways, when you look at his whole entire body, this is a fully functional dog, very powerful. I mean, we're talking extreme power. His recovery is super fast, and his performance from every level is like perfect. I mean, it's ridiculously good. And don't forget again, he's 8 years old. He's 8 years old. I mean, if that doesn't say everything, I don't know what does. There's so many, dogs out there. Like when you go on Instagram, there's about, and you guys should do this. Go on Instagram and check it out. There's I believe there's about 5 million images of Rottweilers when you type in Rottweiler, right? And, just see the comparison. Compare Gorilla Man to what you see on Instagram when it comes to muscle mass, and you'll see for yourself. I'm not saying he's the greatest, he's the best, he's this, he's that. I'm not saying that at all. But I want you guys to see that, my whole point of saying this is so that you guys really understand that, this can be done, and a dog that's considered genetically, average or slightly above average can get the job done when the right exercise program and the right supplements are thrown into the mix. That's the whole point behind, me saying all this stuff, And I really want to see you guys' dogs succeed. Another reason why I'm doing this is because I just got tired of all the lies out there. They got really, really annoying, really annoying. A lot of the lies that are spread through haters, and they just don't want to ever see anybody else succeed, and I think that's pathetic mentality to have. But, a lot of people have that mentality. I want to see everybody succeed. I like it. It's fun, and I like going down the street and seeing like 3-4 jacked up dogs like walking around all pumped up, and I think it's cool, and it's fun to see, so this is why I'm taking the time to make all these videos and do all this shit. I'm not just trying to promote a brand. It doesn't matter that much. I mean, if you guys don't want to use this stuff, then don't use it. It's really that simple. It's not that big of a deal, but eventually you'll figure out that you made a mistake, and when you do, hopefully you figure out that I didn't lie to you. So, that's what that is. So the secret of the pros. You know, a lot of the top dogs, and whether in dog shows or in dog competitions or, you know, protection dog competitions or any kind of shows around the world, a lot of the top competitors use True Champ 2.0. This is the secret 100% natural weapon that they use, which they don't ever talk about, you know. Of course, you know, competitors are not going to give away their truest secrets. They just don't. A few of them do, because they realize that, you know, just because somebody takes, or, you know, like somebody gives their dog a supplement does not mean their dog's going to become a superstar, because there's other, you know, things involved, such as, you know, what kind of training regimen they have, and, you know, other things that they do. But for the most part, anybody who's competing at a top level, you'd be surprised. And we're, you know, again, I'm not mentioning any names at all, but you would be surprised at how many of them actually use this stuff. It's shocking, you know, but they'll never tell you about, you know, and that's why I'm telling you guys. But the thing is that, you know, again, results don't lie, and don't be lied to. That's the whole point of making this video. Just don't get lied to, and see for yourself. Remember, see for yourself. I don't even want you to believe me. Don't even believe me, actually. You know, when you see for yourself and you try it and you see what it does, you'll see for yourself, you know. Like when your dog starts getting a better pump, when he starts recovering way faster, when he starts building up very lean muscle tissue, and when his performance goes through the roof. And once you see that for yourself, you know, you could document everything yourself, you know, write it all down so that you could, you know, have it on paper, so that anytime you have a doubt in your mind, you could go back to your notes and see exactly how much and what your dog gained and how much their performance improved and all that kind of good stuff. You know, you'll see it. And, you know, the reason I know is because I've done it. And that's why I'm so confident about this. You know, there's no need to like try to, you know, like pretend here. You know, I mean, the stuff will show you what it does. One thing to keep in mind, guys, is that when you use True Champ 2.0, it's actually designed to be used year round, like pretty much nonstop for the life of your dog. Only because it doesn't, you know, again, it doesn't matter if they work out or not. It's great for their immune health, and overall, you know, it prevents like muscle atrophy and all that kind of good stuff. And especially as dogs get older, their muscles atrophy significantly, and it becomes harder and harder for them to move around. So this is one way to help prevent that kind of a problem. And, you know, a lot of older dogs, they don't really work out. All they do is go for a walk. But, you know, this is a great supplement for them to use to help, you know, just help like minimize or prevent a lot of potential health problems. And, you know, daily maintenance once a day is the best way to give this stuff to your dog. I've seen so many older dogs take this stuff and, you know, really just benefit heavily from it. And, you know, so there's no reason why your dog shouldn't be benefiting from it. So there you have it, guys. That's pretty much everything summed up all into one to get your dog, you know, to boost his muscle mass and overall immune health. That's all you got to do. I know it sounds simple and, you know, all that kind of good stuff, but it's usually the simple stuff that works the best. Keep that in mind. And, you know, just if you guys have any questions, let me know. It may take me a while to respond back, and I do apologize for that, but I'll definitely try to get back to you guys. But, you know, I went into real detail in this video just so that if there are any questions, you guys have them all answered. So, you know, hopefully you guys, hopefully everything is covered in here. Anyways, thanks, guys.